Listen to me. Some of you are one decision away from a completely different life. Not 10, not 100. Just one decision. But here's the problem. You keep making the same choices that keep you stuck in the same place. Every single day you got a choice. When that alarm goes off, you can decide to hit snooze, or you can decide to get up and chase your dream. When life hits you hard, you can decide to make excuses, or you can decide to find solutions. When the opportunity comes, you can decide to play it safe, or you can decide to take the risk that could change everything. Stop blaming your circumstances, your family, your past. Your decisions are shaping your future. And if you want a better future, you've got to start making better decisions right now. You think success is about talent? No. You think it's about luck? No. It's about consistent, intentional, disciplined decisions every single day. I had to make a decision to stop skipping classes. I had to make a decision to stop hanging with the wrong crowd. I had to make a decision to work while everybody else was sleeping. Some of you are waiting for the right time. There's no right time. The right time is when you decide. The moment you make up your mind that you're not going back, that you're not accepting average, that you're not letting fear run your life, that's the moment your life changes. So today, I need you to look at every choice you make. What you eat, what you watch, who you talk to, what you spend your time on. And ask yourself, is this decision getting me closer to my dreams or pulling me further away? You've got the power. You've always had the power, but you've got to stop wasting it on decisions that keep you broke, keep you tired, keep you frustrated. Make better decisions and watch your life change forever. Listen to me. I need you to understand this with everything in you. One choice can change your life forever. I'm not talking about something complicated. I'm not talking about 1,000 different steps. I'm talking about one moment where you make a decision and your entire life goes in a new direction. Some of you are sitting here thinking you need years of preparation before you can turn things around. But I'm telling you, it can start today, in the next 5 minutes, with one decision that you refuse to go back on. I've seen it in my own life. I've lived it. I was stuck. I was lost. I was making excuse after excuse, blaming everything and everyone for where I was. Then one day I decided I wasn't living like that anymore. Nobody came and gave me permission. Nobody came and handed me a roadmap. I just made a choice. I decided I was going to be committed. I decided I was going to stop quitting when it got hard. That was it. And from that moment, things didn't change overnight on the outside, but everything changed on the inside. My perspective shifted. My habits started to shift. The way I carried myself started to shift. And when you shift inside, it's only a matter of time before the outside catches up. You got to understand, one choice has power. The problem is you think it has to be big, dramatic, fireworks and confetti. No, most life-changing choices are quiet. Nobody sees them. It's the choice you make in the dark when no one's watching. It's the choice to get up early and work on your dream instead of sleeping in. It's the choice to turn down that invitation from people you know are only going to distract you. It's the choice to push through one more hour of work when you're tired. Those little choices stack up and build momentum. But it all starts with one defining choice where you say, I'm done living like this. Some of you are waiting for motivation, waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect condition. Let me tell you, there's no perfect time. You're not going to wake up one morning with the road all clear and the sky all blue telling you, and now is the time. No, the perfect time is the moment you decide. That's it. You decide and then figure out the rest as you go. You're letting fear delay the choice that could change your life. You're letting doubt convince you that maybe you should wait until you feel ready. But you'll never feel ready. You've got to move first and confidence will follow. I've met people who made one choice to leave the wrong crowd. And within months, their entire energy, their entire spirit was different. I've seen people make one choice to forgive someone, and that decision released years of bitterness that was holding them back. I've seen students make one choice to take school seriously, and that opened doors they never thought they'd walk through. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was one choice that led to a new path. You've got to start asking yourself, if I keep making the same choices I've been making, where will I be in a year? 5 years, 10 years? And if the answer to that scares you, that's your wake-up call. That's when you know it's time for a different choice. Maybe it's the choice to start working on your health. Maybe it's the choice to cut ties with someone who's draining you. Maybe it's the choice to start that business you've been thinking about for years. Whatever it is, stop putting it off. Every day you delay is another day you stay stuck in the same place. And let me be real with you. Making that choice isn't always going to feel good. Sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to be lonely. Sometimes you're going to question if you made the right move. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of change. If you want your life to be different, you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. You have to be willing to walk away from things that are familiar but toxic. You have to be willing to do what others want so you can live how others want, so you can live how others can. I don't care what your past looks like. I don't care what mistakes you've made. One choice can change your future. You can choose to stop letting your history define your destiny. You can choose to take ownership of your life. You can choose to become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about a better life, but takes action to make it happen. You don't have to be a prisoner to what you've been through. You can make a choice today that your future self will thank you for. Think about it. One choice can be the spark that lights the fire. You don't have to see the whole journey. You just have to take that first step. One decision to move in the right direction will open doors you didn't even know existed. Listen, opportunities will come. People will appear. Resources will show up. But none of that happens until you make the choice. The choice is the key that unlocks the door. Without it, you're just standing there, wishing for change, but never walking through to get it. You've been given the power of free will. That means every day, every moment, you have the ability to choose. You can choose to keep doing what's easy or choose to do what's necessary. You can choose to stay where it's safe or choose to step out where it's uncertain, but full of possibility. The only thing keeping you from the life you want is the decision you refuse to make. So I need you to stop overthinking it. Stop telling yourself you're not ready. Stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. Nobody can make this choice for you. This is your life, your responsibility, your moment. And if you want it to be different, if you want it to be better, it starts with one choice. And here's the best part. Once you make that choice, once you really commit, you'll look back one day and realize that everything you have now, everything you've become, started with that one moment. That one enough is enough. That one I'm doing it. That one I'm not going back. Your decisions are building your life brick by brick. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are shaping your future with the choices you make. You think the future is some mysterious thing that just shows up one day, but it's not. Your future is being built in this moment with the decision to either show up or stay home, to either work or procrastinate, to either keep going or quit. Every decision is a seed you plant, and sooner or later, you're going to have to live in the garden you've been planting. The problem is, most people don't connect their daily decisions with their future reality. You think skipping that workout doesn't matter. You think spending money on something you don't need is no big deal. You think staying up all night scrolling your phone won't change anything. But those little decisions compound over time. Just like interest in a bank account grows, the results of your decisions grow. The good ones stack up into success, and the bad ones stack up into regrets. You don't just wake up one day and find yourself out of shape, broke, or unmotivated. It happens one decision at a time. I need you to understand this. Your life right now is the result of decisions you've been making for years. And if you don't like what you see, that means something in your decision making has to change. You can't keep making the same choices and expect a different outcome. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you got to start making better financial decisions today. If you're tired of feeling exhausted and sluggish, you got to start making better health decisions today. If you're tired of not hitting your goals, you got to start making better disciplined decisions today. The change in your future starts with the change in your decisions. Too many people think success is about one big break, one huge opportunity, one lucky moment. It's not. Success is built in the small, consistent decisions you make every single day. It's choosing to study when you rather watch TV. It's choosing to save when you rather spend. It's choosing to practice when nobody's watching. Those little decisions stack up until one day people look at you and say, wow, you're so lucky. No, it's not luck. It's the result of hundreds, thousands of disciplined decisions that nobody saw. Your decisions create momentum. Every good decision pushes you forward. Every bad decision pulls you backward. You can't stand still. You're either moving towards your goals or away from them. That's why you can't afford to be careless with your choices. Every time you choose the easy way over the right way, you lose ground. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you lose momentum. And the truth is, momentum is everything. Once you start making better decisions, it becomes easier to keep making them. You build confidence, you build discipline, you build habits. But the opposite is true too. Once you start making bad decisions, it gets easier to keep making them until you're stuck in a rut and don't know how to get out. Some of you are in that rut right now. You've been making decisions based on what feels good in the moment instead of what would be good for you in the future. And now you're paying the price. But the good news is you can turn it around. You can start making decisions today that pull you out of the hole. You can start planting seeds today that will grow into a better tomorrow. It won't happen overnight. But if you stay consistent, it will happen. You have to start thinking long term. Stop asking yourself, what do I feel like doing right now? And start asking yourself, what decision will help me in the long run? Successful people aren't controlled by their emotions. They're guided by their vision. They're guided by their vision. They make decisions that align with where they want to go, not just where they are right now. That means sometimes you got to say no to things you want in the moment so you can have what you really want in the future. I've had to do this in my own life. There were times I wanted to relax, to take it easy, to hang out with friends instead of working. But I had a vision for my future, and I knew every decision I made was either taking me closer to it or pulling me away from it. I couldn't afford to waste time on things that didn't match my vision. And now, years later, I'm living the results of those decisions. The opportunities I have today didn't just fall in my lap. They were built through 1,000 small, disciplined choices. Some of you are making decisions like your future doesn't matter. You're acting like tomorrow isn't coming. But it's coming. 5 years from now, you're going to look back at the choices you made today, and you're either going to thank yourself or you're going to regret it. That's why you've got to start thinking of every decision as a building block. What kind of building are you creating? Are you building a strong, stable structure, or are you stacking up something weak that's going to collapse when life gets hard? And don't get it twisted. Not making a decision is still making a decision. Choosing to procrastinate is a decision. Choosing to avoid responsibility is a decision. Choosing to stay in the same place is a decision. And every one of those choices is shaping your destiny. You can't escape it. Your decisions will create your future whether you're intentional about it or not. The difference between successful people and everyone else is that successful people are intentional. They don't leave their life to chance. They direct it with their decisions. It's time for you to start being intentional. That means you stop letting your feelings control you. That means you stop living like you got unlimited time. That means you stop making choices just to impress other people. Every decision needs to be filtered through one question. Does this get me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, you got to have the discipline to walk away from it no matter how tempting it is. And here's the thing. The more you practice making good decisions, the better you get at it. Just like a muscle, decision-making gets stronger with use. At first, it's hard to say no to temptation, hard to choose discipline over comfort. But if you keep doing it, it becomes part of who you are. You won't even have to think about it. You'll automatically make choices that align with your vision. That's when you know you built a decision-making system that will keep you moving towards success for the rest of your life. The truth is, you can't control everything in life, but you can control your decisions, and your decisions control everything else. You may not be able to control the opportunities that come your way, but you can control whether you're prepared for them. You can't control how other people act, but you can control how you respond. And every time you choose the right response, every time you choose the right action, you're taking another step toward the life you want. If you understand this, if you take it seriously, you'll never look at decisions the same way again. You'll realize that you hold the blueprint to your own life. And every choice you make is a stroke of the pen. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop blaming your past. Because as long as you keep pointing the finger, you're giving away your power. The truth is, your life is a reflection of the choices you've made. I know that might be hard to hear, but until you accept it, you'll stay stuck. You keep saying it's because of what your parents did or didn't do, because of where you grew up, because of people around you, because of what happened years ago. But I'm telling you, the day you stop blaming and start deciding is the day you take control of your life. When you blame, you give someone else the keys to your future. You're basically saying, I can't move forward unless they change. I can't be happy unless they fix it. I can't succeed unless they help me. And guess what? They might never change. They might never fix it. They might never help you. So you end up waiting, stuck in the same place year after year because you're letting your decisions depend on somebody else's action. You have to own your choice. You have to take full responsibility, even for the stuff that wasn't your fault. You might not have chosen what happened to you, but you get to choose how you respond to it. You might not have chosen to grow up in a certain environment, but you get to choose whether you let that define you or drive you. The moment you decide, I'm in charge of me, I'm in charge of what happens next, you break free from the prison of blame. I met people who went through unbelievable pain, tragedy, betrayal, and still came out stronger. Why? Because they refused to let those moments control their destiny. They made a decision that no matter what happened in the past, they were going to build their future. On the other hand, I've seen people who had every opportunity in front of them, but stayed stuck because they were too busy pointing at everyone else instead of looking in the mirror. When you stop blaming, you stop focusing. Blame is a distraction. It keeps you talking about the problem instead of working on the solution. The more you talk about who's at fault, the less time you spend fixing the situation. And here's the thing, even if it really is someone else's fault, blaming them doesn't fix it. The only way forward is to ask yourself, what can I do? What decision can I make right now that will move me toward my goal? Taking responsibility is powerful because it puts you back in control. You can't control other people. You can't control every situation, but you can control your choices. You can control your attitude, your work ethic, your focus. And when you take ownership, you realize you have options. You stop feeling like a victim and start acting like the author of your own story. I remember when I was younger, I wasted so much time blaming my father for not being there. I told myself I couldn't succeed because he left. I told myself I couldn't be disciplined because I didn't have guidance. Oh, I'm done. But one day I got tired of telling that same story. I realized that blaming him wasn't changing my situation. It was just giving me an excuse to stay the same. That's when I made a decision to stop blaming and start building. That was the turning point. Blame is easy. Responsibility is hard. Blame feels good in the moment because it lets you avoid looking at your own mistakes. But responsibility is where growth happens. Responsibility forces you to be honest about the decisions you made and the ones you need to start making differently. It forces you to admit that sometimes you're the one who chose comfort over progress, excuses over effort, fear over faith. Here's the thing. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you a better life. You owe it to yourself to create one. And you can't create it if you're too busy keeping score of who wronged you. Every time you blame, you're investing energy in the past. Every time you take responsibility, you're investing energy in the future. If you want to change your life, you have to start making decisions from a place of ownership. That means you stop saying, they didn't help me, and start saying, I'm going to find a way. You stop saying, they made me mad, and start saying, I'm choosing to respond differently. You stop saying, they didn't give me a chance. Start saying, I'm going to create my own opportunity. So when you take ownership, you also stop waiting for perfect conditions. The little choices you make every single day might seem small, but they're shaping your life in ways you don't even realize. We like to think it's the big moments that define the big job offer, the big opportunity, the big break. But it's not. It's what you do every morning when the alarm goes off. It's what you choose to eat for breakfast. It's whether you scroll on your phone for an hour or use that time to learn something that moves you forward. Those little decisions are the bricks, and every day you're laying them down. Over time, they build the life you're living, for better or worse. Think about it. One donut isn't going to ruin your health, just like one salad isn't going to make you fit. But eat the donut every day for a year, and your body will show it. Read one page a day, and you might not notice much change in a week, but do it every day for a year, and your mind will be sharper. You're thinking clearer. Success and failure don't usually show up overnight. They sneak in through the small habits you've been repeating for years. The problem is we underestimate the power of those small choices because they don't give us immediate results. You skip a workout today and nothing happens, your pants still feel fine. You blow your budget on something you don't need and nothing collapses instantly. The lights are still on. You can still buy groceries. That's why it's so easy to keep making those small bad decisions. But the truth is, they're quietly stacking up. And one day you'll wake up and wonder how you got so far from where you wanted to be. The same is true on the positive side. It's easy to talk yourself out of making good choices because you don't see an instant reward. You get up early to work on your dream and nobody notices. You choose to save a little money instead of spending it, and it feels like it's barely worth it. You choose to read instead of watch TV, and there's no applause. But those are the moments that make you. Those small daily decisions are the seeds, and the harvest comes later. If you want to change your life, you have to start paying attention to the small stuff. Stop telling yourself it doesn't matter if you skip this one time. Stop saying it's just for today. Because today turns into tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. And before you know it, that one skip workout has become 6 months of no exercise. That one day of procrastination becomes a habit of avoiding hard things. One of the most dangerous mindsets you can have is thinking that only the big decisions matter. People sabotage themselves with little choices all the time because they don't see the connection. You don't lose your dream job because of one big mistake. You lose it because you kept showing up a few minutes late, because you stopped going the extra mile, because you started cutting corner in ways nobody noticed at first. I've seen people win not because they were the most talented, but because they made better small decisions day after day. They didn't wait until they felt like doing the work. They just did it. They didn't save money only when it was easy. They saved even when it meant saying no to something they wanted. They didn't network only when it was convenient. They built relationships all the time. Those decisions add up. And after years, they look like overnight success. On the flip side, I've seen people with incredible talent throw it away because they didn't respect the small choices. They thought missing one deadline didn't matter. They thought skipping one rehearsal wouldn't hurt. They thought one negative comment wouldn't damage their relationships. But those small cracks become big breaks over time. You have to understand that you're building momentum with every choice. If you make one small good choice today, it's easier to make another one tomorrow. If you make one small bad choice today, it's easier to make another bad one tomorrow. You're either building momentum toward your goals or away from them. There is no neutral. That's why discipline is so important. Discipline isn't about making one huge, life-changing decision and then never struggling again. Discipline is about making the right small choice over and over again, even when nobody's watching, even when you don't feel like it. It's about saying, this may not matter much today, but I know it matters over time. You might not be able to change everything at once, but you can change one small thing today. You can choose to wake up 15 minutes earlier. You can choose to drink water instead of soda. You can choose to read for 10 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone. These might seem small, but they're training your brain to make better decisions. And once you start winning the small battles, you'll be ready for the big ones. Look at the people you admire, the ones who are crushing in life. Their success is built on the little stuff you don't see. You see them getting awards, but you didn't see the years of showing up early and staying late. You see them in shape, but you didn't see the hundreds of workouts when they could have stayed home. You see them making big money moves, but you didn't see them turning down instant gratification for years so they could invest in their future. The danger is most people want the big reward without the small, consistent effort. They want to be in shape without daily exercise. They want to be successful without daily learning. They want financial freedom without daily budgeting. But life doesn't work that way. The harvest only comes to those who plant and water their seeds every single day. You have to start thinking long term with your small decisions. When you're about to make a choice, ask yourself, if I do this every day for a year, where will I be? That's how you start connecting today's decision, tomorrow's outcome. If the answer takes you closer to your goals, do it. If it takes you further away, don't. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. The truth is, greatness isn't hidden in some magical once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Greatness is hidden in the choice you make when nobody's looking, in the discipline you keep when it's boring, in the habits you build when nobody's cheering you on. The small choices are the foundation, and without them, the big moments won't last. Success is not luck. People love to throw that word around, like success just falls out of the sky or the sky on random people. They look at someone winning, someone on top of their game, and they say, man, they're lucky. No, what you're seeing is not luck. It's the result of decisions stacked day after day, year after year. You're looking at the fruit without knowing anything about the planting, the watering, the sleepless nights, the times they pushed through when it didn't look like anything was happening. Luck is an excuse people use when they don't want to admit that success takes work. Because if it's luck, then you can sit back and hope your time will come. But if it's decisions, then you have to face the fact that maybe your choices haven't been lining up with your goals. And that's a hard truth to swallow. I'm telling you right now, the people you admire, the people you call lucky, they've been making intentional, disciplined decisions long before you ever heard their name. They decided to get up early when nobody was watching. They decided to work on their craft while their friends were out having fun. They decided to invest in themselves when there was no guarantee it would pay off. They decided to keep going after failure when most people would have quit. There's no magic to it. It's math. You put in the right decisions consistently, and the outcome compounds. You put in bad or lazy decisions, and that compounds too, but in the wrong direction. That's why some people wake up one day and feel like life has passed them by. It's not that life passed them by. It's not that life passed them by. It's that they were making decisions that slowly, silently moved them further from where they wanted to be. When you understand that success is built on decisions, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity to fall into your lap. You stop blaming your circumstances. You start looking at every choice you make as either an investment or a withdrawal from your future. You start realizing you have more control than you thought. It's not the giant traumatic moments that make or break you. It's the thousands of tiny choices. Think about an athlete. The medal isn't won the day of the race. It's won months before. In the training sessions, nobody saw. It's won a decision to show up when they were tired. The decision to eat right when they wanted junk. The decision to go to bed early when they could have stayed up. On race day, you're just seeing the results of all those unseen decisions. The same is true for your career, your relationships, your health, your finance. If you're in great shape financially, it's not luck. It's because you made hundreds of choices to budget, save, and invest when it would have been easier to spend. If you have strong relationships, it's because you decided to communicate, to forgive, to show up for people over and over. If you're successful in business, it's because you kept learning, kept adapting, kept working long after the excitement wore off. And here's the thing, because success is the result of decision, it means it's available to you too. You don't have to be born into it. You don't have to have all the connections. You don't have to wait for someone to hand you a break. You can start making the right decisions today. It might not look like much in the beginning, but over time, those decisions will build something real. Most people don't fail because of one big bad decision. They fail because of a slow leak. Small, lazy choices that stack up until the gap between where they are and where they wanted to be is huge. And by the time they notice, they've convinced themselves it's just bad luck or life being unfair. No, it's the math of decisions, and you can't cheat the math. The truth is you can predict where someone will be in 5 years by looking at their decisions today. If they're choosing growth over comfort, if they're choosing learning over entertainment, if they're choosing discipline over impulse, then it's only a matter of time before they see the payoff. And if they're choosing the opposite, then it's only a matter of time before the consequences show up. The reason success looks like luck to some people is because they didn't see all the boring, repetitive, disciplined decisions that went into it. They didn't see the person turning off the TV to read a book or waking up early to work out or spending Saturday night studying instead of going out. They only see the highlight reel, not the daily grind. And I get it. Making the right decisions over and over can feel thankless in the moment. You might be tempted to quit because nobody's clapping for you yet, but that's where most people fall off, and that's why the few who keep going stand out. If you can stick with the process, even when it's invisible, even when it's lonely, you'll eventually get to a point where people start calling you a lucky. The beautiful thing about this truth is that you can start right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to make one good decision, then another, then another. Over time, those decisions will start stacking in your favor. And once you build momentum, it gets harder to stop. It's like climbing a hill. At first, every step feels heavy, like you're not getting anywhere. But once you reach a certain point, gravity starts working with you instead of against you. That's what happens when your decisions start compounding. You build habits. You build habits. You build discipline. And those things start carrying you forward even on the days you don't feel motivated. So no, success isn't luck. It's not a lottery ticket you just happen to scratch off at the right time. It's a game of consistent, disciplined decision. It's choosing the hard thing now so you can have the easier life later instead of choosing the easy thing now and dealing with the harder life later. Right now is the time. Not next year. Not when you've saved a little more money. Not when the stars line up and everything feels perfect. Right now. I know what you're thinking. I'm not ready yet. But here's the truth. Nobody ever feels completely ready. You think the people you admire waited until they had every answer, every detail, every resource before they moved? No. They started with what they had, right where they were, and they figured it out along the way. You've been telling yourself you're waiting for the right time, but the right time is a myth. It's an excuse dressed up to look like wisdom. And the longer you hold on to it, the longer you stay exactly where you are. Life is not going to pause for you. Opportunities don't stand still waiting for you to feel comfortable. They move. And if you don't move with them, they pass you by. Some of you have been holding on to an idea, a dream, a goal for years, and you've been feeding it the same line. I'll start when things calm down. Let me ask you this. When has life ever truly calmed down? Every season has its challenges. It's chaos. It's uncertainty. If you're waiting for life to roll out a red carpet and say, okay, now's the time, you're going to be waiting forever. There's a dangerous trap in thinking you need more before you start. More money, more knowledge, more experience, more connections. But the people who win don't start with more. They start with less and they make more by moving. They make the connections by stepping into rooms they weren't invited to. They gain the experience by trying, failing, and trying again and trying again. They build the confidence by doing the things scared, not by waiting until the fear disappears. Right now matters because momentum is everything. You can think yourself into exhaustion. You can plan yourself into paralysis, but movement creates clarity. Movement creates clarity. When you take that first step, even if it's messy, even if it's small, you give yourself something to build on. That first call you make, that first post you write, that first workout you do, it sets the tone. It tells your brain, oh, we're doing this. And once you start, it's harder to stop or to stop. People think success is about having the perfect plan before you start, but it's actually about starting and adjusting as you go. You'll never see the whole staircase. You'll see one or two steps at a time. And you have to trust that if you keep moving, the rest will reveal itself. The person who waits for the entire staircase never leaves the ground. The person who takes the first step might stumble, but they're moving forward, learning, adapting, and growing. Here's the part nobody tells you. The longer you wait, the heavier the start becomes. Every week you delay adds weight to the decision. Every month you delay, your fear gets louder and your confidence gets quieter. Starting now breaks that cycle. Starting now tells your fear, you're not in charge here. I've seen people sit on dreams until they turn into regrets. They look back and realize the perfect time they were waiting for never came. And now the opportunity is gone. Not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't move. And I've seen others start before they felt ready and build something incredible out of nothing, simply because they refused to wait. You don't have to start with a big leap. You can start with a small, simple action, something you can do today before you go to bed tonight. Send the email, make the call, research the thing, sign up for the class, write the first paragraph, take the walk, something, anything. Just get moving. The thing about starting now is it teaches you how to start again. Because here's another truth, you're gonna stumble. You're going to have days when you fall off track. But if you built the habit of moving now, you'll know how to pick yourself back up quickly. Waiting until you feel ready trains you to be comfortable doing nothing. Starting now trains you to move through discomfort. I know it's scary. I know you're worried about failing. Well, let me tell you, failing while moving is 1,000 times better than failing by standing still. At least when you fail moving, you're gaining experience, perspective, and momentum. You're closer to the next opportunity. Standing still doesn't protect you from failure. It guarantees it. You can't rehearse forever. You can't study forever. You can't get advice forever. At some point, you've got to step onto the field and play the game. You'll learn more in 1 week of doing than in 6 months of thinking about doing. You'll see the mistakes you couldn't predict. You'll find shortcuts you didn't know existed. And you'll meet people you never would have met if you stayed in your head. And here's something powerful. When you move now, you inspire others to move too. You become living proof that you don't need perfect conditions to start. You become the example that gives someone else permission to go after their dream. Your action creates a ripple effect far beyond you. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. There is nothing magical to happen tomorrow that makes you more ready than you are today. The only difference between you and the person living the life you want is that they started. They didn't wait. They didn't wait. They didn't overthink. They just moved, and they kept moving. Every day you wait is a day you could have been building. Every day you wait is a day you could have been gaining experience, making connections, growing stronger. You don't get those days back, but you can make today count. You can draw a line and say, from this moment forward, I move. So here's the challenge. Do one thing today that your future self will thank you for. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Send a message, make the call, start the project, take the step. Decide who you want to be. That's it. Before you chase the money, before you chase the car, before you chase the dream job, you have to decide who you are and who you're going to be every single day. Most people are drifting through life, reacting to whatever happens, instead of living with intention. They wake up and let their feelings decide their actions. They let other people's opinions decide their confidence. They let circumstances decide their future. And then they wonder why they feel lost, why they feel stuck, why they keep ending up in the same place year after year. When you decide who you want to be, you take back the power. You stop letting life happen to you and you start shaping it. You stop waking up with no plan, and you stop waking up with a purpose. This isn't about titles. It's not about job positions. It's not even about accomplishments. This is about identity, because if you don't know who you are, you'll spend your life trying to be everybody else. You'll change yourself to fit in with the crowd. You'll hide your real self to avoid judgment, and you'll settle for a life that's not even yours. When you decide who you want to be, you set a standard for yourself. You make a contract with yourself that says, no matter what happens, no matter what anyone says, no matter what life throws at me, this is the kind of person I am, and I will act accordingly. And that standard becomes your compass. It guides every choice you make. It tells you which opportunities to take and which to turn down. It tells you who to hang around and who to walk away from. It tells you what's worth your time and what's just a distraction. The reason so many people make poor decisions is because they have no anchor. They have no identity they're committed to. So they say yes to things that don't align with them. They chase things that don't fulfill them. And they keep starting over because they never truly decide what matters to them. When you know who you want to be, the decisions become easier. They might still be uncomfortable. They might still take courage, but they're clear. You can't fake your way into this. You can't just say, I want to be disciplined, and then keep hitting snooze. You can't say, I want to be a leader, and then keep avoiding responsibility. The decision has to be real, and it has to show up in your action. You don't become that person in a single day, but you decide to start becoming them in a single moment. Every decision after that either moves you closer to that identity or further away. This is why vision matters. You have to picture it. You have to see the kind of person you want to be so clearly that it's burned into your mind. Your mind. How do they think? How do they walk into a room? How do they speak? How do they handle problems? How do they treat people? And most importantly, what are they willing to sacrifice? If you want to be great, if you want to be disciplined, if you want to be resilient, it's going to cost you something. You can't decide to be healthy and still eat whatever you want. You can't decide to be financially free and still spend recklessly. You can't decide to be excellent in your craft and still treat practice like an option. The person you want to be is building the small daily decisions, the ones nobody sees, the ones nobody praises, the ones that feel boring and unimportant in the moment. It's about the moments when life is heavy, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when nothing seems to be working. That's when your decision is tested. Anybody can be committed when things are easy, but who are you when it's hard? Do you break your own promises or do you stand on them even when it costs you? People think identity is something you find, but it's not. It's something you create. You choose it. You build it. You reinforce it every day with your actions. And if you don't choose it, someone else will choose it for you. The world will label you. Your failures will label you. Your past will label you. And you'll spend your life living out someone else's definition of you. When you decide chasing approval, you stop chasing approval. You stop needing everyone to agree with you. You stop letting the fear of judgment control you because you know who you are and where you're going. And you're not letting anyone knock you off course. And yes, some people will fall away when you make this decision. Some people won't understand you. That's okay. You're not here to live their version of your life. You're here to live yours. It's not enough to decide once and forget about it. You have to reaffirm that decision every day. When you wake up, remind yourself, this is who I am. When you're tempted to quit, remind yourself, this is who I am. When an opportunity comes that doesn't align with your vision, remind yourself, this is who I am. Because if you don't keep it in front of you, the noise of the world will drown it out. If you've been living without clarity, start today. Sit down and ask yourself, if I could design the best version of me, what would they look like? What would they stand for? What would they refuse to compromise on? Don't rush this. Be honest. And once you have that picture, commit to it. Don't just admire it. Don't just think about it when you're motivated. Make it the foundation for every decision you make. You can keep floating through life, hoping things work out. Or you can plant your flag and say, this is who I am. And this is the life I'm building. And when you do, you'll notice something powerful. You stop feeling pulled in 100 different directions. You stop second guessing every move. You stop feeling like a stranger in your own life. Because now every decision is moving you toward the person you've already decided to be. Cut out distractions. You say you want success. You say you want a better life. Say you want to level up. But every time I look at your schedule, every time I look at how you spend your day, you've got distractions everywhere. You got your phone going off every 5 seconds. You got Netflix running in the background while you at work. You got 10 tabs open on your laptop. Not one of them is moving you closer to your goal. You're not losing because you don't have talent. You're not losing because you don't have potential. You're losing because you keep letting little things steal your focus. And those little things are eating your dreams alive. You can't say you're committed and still give your best hours of the day to nonsense. You can't say you're hungry for success and then spend 3 hours scrolling through social media, liking other people's highlight reels while your own story isn't being written. Distractions aren't just wasting your time. They're training your mind to be comfortable with being unfocused. And once you train your brain to live in constant interruption, it becomes harder and harder to lock in when it really matters. The truth is, some of you are more loyal to your distractions than you are to your dreams. You won't miss a TV episode. You won't miss the latest gossip. You won't miss a night out with friends, but you will miss your workout. You will miss studying. You will miss that one call you needed to make to push your business forward. And then you wonder why nothing is changing. Your habits are showing you where your loyalty really lies. If you're serious about making better decisions, you have to get ruthless about your time. That means cutting off the stuff that doesn't serve you, even if it's fun, even if it's comfortable, even if you've been doing it for years. Some distractions don't look bad at first glance. They're not illegal, they're not evil, but they're stealing your minutes, your hours, your energy. And once they take your energy, they take your progress. It's not just about what you say yes to, it's about what you say a no to. You've got to start saying a no to pointless arguments, a no to endless scrolling, a no to watching other people live the life you say you want. You've got to start saying a bust to the people who pull you into drama, to the events that drain you, to the habits that keep you exactly where you are. Saying a no doesn't make you mean. It makes you focused. It tells the world, I'm not available for average anymore. When you cut distractions, you create space. And in that space, you can actually hear yourself think. You can actually sit down and work without being pulled in 10 different directions. You can start a task and finish it without getting lost halfway through. You'd be shocked how much progress you could make in a week, a month, a year if you gave your full attention to the things that matter most. But here's the thing, you can't just remove distractions. You have to replace them with intentional actions. If you cut out 3 hours of scrolling, fill that time with reading something that grows you, working on your craft, exercising, building your network, or deep rest so you're sharper tomorrow. If you don't replace a bad habit with a good one, that distraction is going to creep right back in, dressed in a different form. Some distractions are people. You got folks in your life who mean well, but they're not going where you're going. Every time you're with them, it's gossip, it's negativity. It's wasting time talking about what's wrong instead of working on what's right. I'm not saying you have to cut everyone off cold turkey, but you need to be intentional. If you spend 5 hours with someone who has no ambition, don't be surprised if your ambition starts to fade too. Energy is contagious. Protect yours. Some distractions are mental. It's that loop in your head where you keep replaying the past, overthinking or worrying about things you can't control. That's just as dangerous as physical distractions because it eats up your emotional energy. You've got to discipline your mind the same way you discipline your schedule. If a thought isn't serving your progress, cut it off, redirect it. Fill your mind with what you're building, not what you're avoiding. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes you use distractions as an escape. You bury yourself in entertainment and busy work and anything that keeps you from facing the uncomfortable truth that you're not doing what you should be doing. It feels easier to binge watch a series than to work on your dream. It feels easier to scroll than to make that call you've been avoiding. But every time you choose the easy distraction, you're choosing to delay your own breakthrough. If you want to win, you got to treat focus like a muscle. That means practicing it. Start small. Block off 1 hour a day where you work with 0 interruptions. No phone, no notification, no noise. Just you and a task. Then expand that to 2 hours, then 3. Over time, your ability to focus will get stronger. You'll find it easier to say or no to distractions because you've experienced what it feels like to be locked in and productive. And listen, I'm not saying you can never relax, never have fun, never enjoy yourself. Rest is not a distraction. Strategic rest is fuel, but you have to be honest with yourself about the difference between rest and avoidance. Rest is when you take a break so you can come back stronger. Avoidance is when you take a break to hide from the work you need to do. One builds you, the other bleeds you. The biggest change happens when you realize your time is not infinite. Every minute you waste is a minute you don't get back. Every day you let distractions win is a day you could have used to get closer to your goals. People say a time is money, but that's wrong. Time is more valuable than money because you can make more money, but you can't make more time. So if you wouldn't let someone steal your wallet, why do you let them? Or your phone or your bad habits steal your hours. Start treating your focus like it's sacred. Guard it, protect it, respect it. Because once you master your ability to cut out distraction, you start moving at a speed most people can't understand. And while they're still stuck in the same place, wondering why their life hasn't changed, you'll be looking back wondering why you didn't cut the distractions sooner. Choose discipline over comfort. That's the line between the people who talk about success and the people who actually get it. Most folks don't fail because they don't have talent or opportunity. They fail because they keep choosing what feels good right now over what will feel great later. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. But too many people burn that bridge down every single day because comfort whispers louder than commitment. Comfort says, I'll sleep a little longer. Discipline says, get up, we've got work to do. Comfort says, you've earned a break. Discipline says, you haven't earned it yet. Keep going. Comfort says, do it tomorrow. Discipline says, do it now, so tomorrow you're further ahead. The problem is comfort feels nice in the moments. Warm, it's easy. It's like a soft couch that you sink into. But here's the truth. That couch can turn into a prison. The more time you spend in comfort, the harder it is to leave it. And before you know it, years pass and you're still in the same place, wondering why nothing's changed. Discipline is uncomfortable, no doubt. It demands early mornings when you'd rather sleep in. It demands working out when your body is sore. It demands studying when your friends are out having fun. It demands saying no to things that feel good but don't serve your purpose. And at first, it feels like you're punishing yourself. But what you're really doing is training yourself. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're telling your mind, we do hard things. We don't run from them. See, comfort will give you small pleasures now and big pain later. Discipline will give you small pain now and big rewards later. The question is, which timeline are you willing to accept? Most people want the reward without the process. They want the body without the workouts. They want the business without the grind. Well, they want the promotion without the extra hours. They want the respect without the responsibility. But life doesn't work like that. You get paid in proportion to the problems you solve, the value you bring, and the discipline you show. If you look at the greats in sports, in business, in any field, they've mastered discipline. Kobe Bryant was in the gym at 4 a.m. before games. Elon Musk has been known to work 80 to 100 hours a week. Serena Williams trains like she's still chasing her first title, even after winning dozens. Yeah, they don't rely on motivation. Motivation is a spark. It comes and goes. Discipline is the fire. It keeps burning because you feed it, even when you don't feel like it. Here's the trap. Comfort disguises itself as a self-care or taking it easy. And yes, rest is important. Recovery is important. But there's a difference between resting because you've earned it and resting because you're avoiding the work. That's not self-care. That's self-sabotage. Discipline requires you to do what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. That's the muscle you gotta build. And the way you build it is by starting small and being consistent. If you can't wake up at 5 a.m. every day, start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier than usual and doing something productive in that time. If you can't run 5 miles, start with one. Start with one. If you can't work for 4 hours straight without distractions, start with 30 minutes of deep focus. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. You also have to understand that discipline doesn't mean misery. It's not about beating yourself up or living in constant struggle. It's about aligning your actions with your goals. If your dream is to own your own business, discipline means putting in the hours to learn, to network, to build, even when you're tired. If your dream is to be healthy, discipline means choosing water over soda, the gym over the couch, even when nobody's watching. Discipline is freedom in disguise. People think it's about restriction, but really, it's about giving yourself the freedom to live life on your terms. When you're disciplined with your money, you have the freedom to invest, to travel, to take opportunities others can't afford. When you're disciplined with your health, you have the freedom to move, to play, to live without constant pain. When you're disciplined with your time, you have the freedom to spend it on what matters most instead of wasting it. The hardest part about choosing discipline over comfort is that nobody's going to force you to do it. You won't get fined for skipping the gym. You won't get arrested for binge watching TV instead of working on your side hustle. You won't go to jail for sleeping in instead of writing your book. The only punishment is that your life stays the same. The only penalty is waking up 5 years from now with the same frustrations you have today. You have to decide what you want more, the ease of now or the rewards of later. Every time you choose comfort, you reinforce that comfort is more important than your goals. Every time you choose discipline, you reinforce that your goals matter more than how you feel in the moment. And over time, those choices stack up. You either build a life you're proud of or one you regret. Discipline also means holding yourself accountable. You can't keep letting yourself off the hook with excuses. Stop saying, I'll start Monday. Stop saying, I didn't have time. You had time. You had time. You just chose to give it to something else. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop blaming your boss. Stop blaming your upbringing. Your life is shaped by your daily decisions. And discipline is simply the decision to keep choosing what serves your vision over what soothes your feelings. It's going to hurt sometimes. You're going to be tired. You're going to be tempted. But in those moments, remember that every act of discipline is an investment in your future. Every rep in the gym is a vote for the body you want. Every hour spent learning is a vote for the career you want. Every dollar saved is a vote for the financial freedom you want. You're casting votes with your actions every single day. What kind of life are you voting for? The truth is, comfort is everywhere. It's calling you every minute. It's in your phone, in your fridge, in your couch, in your habits, and it will always be there. The only way to win is to decide that your vision is louder than comfort's voice. You have to train yourself to hear the voice of discipline, the one that said, get up, push harder, keep going, and obey it even when the other voice is screaming at you to quit. When you start living with discipline, you'll notice something strange. The hard things get easier. Waking up early isn't torture anymore. Saying no to junk food isn't a battle anymore. Sticking to your schedule isn't a chore anymore. Why? Because you've trained your mind and body to understand that this is who you are now. Discipline becomes part of your identity. And once it's part of your identity, it's no longer a fight. It's just what you do. And here's the best part. Once you choose discipline over comfort long enough, you'll look back and realize that comfort was never really comfortable. It was just familiar. True comfort comes from knowing you're living up to your potential, from knowing you're not letting yourself down. And that only comes through discipline. Most people quit too soon. And that's the truth nobody likes to admit. They'll tell you they tried. They'll say they gave it their best. But when you look closer, you realize they stopped before the finish line. The reality is, success doesn't usually go to the most talented. It goes to the most persistent. It's not always about who's the fastest, smartest, or most gifted. It's about who refuses to let go when things get hard, when the results aren't showing yet, and when every part of them is screaming to stop. See, anybody can start something. Anybody can get excited on day one. The gym is packed in January. New business ideas are flying around every Monday morning. Everyone's fired up after watching a motivational video or reading a book. But you and I both know that hype fades. Energy dips. Life gets in the way. The kids get sick. The bills pile up. The boss starts breathing down your neck. And suddenly that thing you were so passionate about is sitting in the corner collecting dust. Persistence about what you do after the excitement wears off. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it. When you're tired, when it's inconvenient, when it's boring, when it's thankless, and when nobody's clapping for you. It's easy to push when everything's going right. The real test is when nothing's going right, when you've been grinding for months and the needle hasn't moved an inch. Can you keep going then? Can you keep showing up without any applause, without any guarantees, without even knowing if it'll work? That's persistence. The truth is, quitting early almost always happens right before the breakthrough. Think about it. How many times have you been working at something, frustrated because it feels like nothing is changing? And then, right after you were about to give up, something clicked. You got the call back. You closed the sale. You hit the personal best. That's not luck. That's what happens when you stick around long enough for your hard work to catch up with you. The dangerous part is, you never know how close you are when you quit. You could be one workout away from seeing real change in your body. One phone call away from landing your biggest client, one audition away from your big break, one meeting away from the promotion. But because it's hard, because it's taking longer than you expected, you stop. You walk away right before the win. And you don't just lose the progress you've made, you lose the trust you had in yourself. Persistence isn't glamorous. It's not about grand gestures. It's about 1,000 little decisions to keep going. It's waking up early when nobody's watching. It's staying late when everyone else has going on. It's reading the extra chapter, making the extra call, sending the extra email. It's doing the work you say you do long after the mood you set in ends disappear. Now, persistence doesn't mean you keep doing the exact same thing that isn't working. It means you keep moving toward the goal, even if you have to change your strategy. Too many people confuse quitting with pivoting. If your plan isn't working, persistence might mean learning a new skill, finding a mentor, changing your approach. Hey, you can adjust the path without abandoning the destination. The other thing is, persistence is built through resistance. Every time you push through a setback, you get stronger. Every time you refuse to quit when it's uncomfortable, you train your mind to outlast your feelings. Persistence is like a muscle. You can't build it if you never test it. If you give up the moment things get hard, you'll never develop the endurance to handle bigger challenges. And make no mistake, success comes with bigger challenges, not fewer. There's also this idea that persistence is lonely. In some ways, that's true. Not everybody will understand why you're still working when they've already given up. They'll call you stubborn. They'll say you're wasting your time. They'll try to get you to slow down or be realistic. That's because your persistence makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to confront the fact that they gave up on their own goals. So they'll try to pull you back to their level. Don't let them. If they can't see your vision, that's fine. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. And let's be honest, persistence isn't always fun. It's not a constant parade of wins and fireworks. Sometimes it's tedious, repetitive, and even boring. But that's where the magic happens. In the repetition, in the consistency, in doing it over and over until you get better, sharper, faster. Success is hidden in the things most people find too dull to keep doing. The real enemy of persistence, instant gratification. We live in a world where you can order something online and get it in hours, where you can watch an entire season of a show in one night, where you can get likes on your post second after you upload it. That's training our brains to expect quick rewards. But meaningful goals don't work that way. They require delayed gratification. They require you to keep sowing seeds long before you see a harvest. And here's the secret. Persistence gets easier when your why is strong enough. If you're doing something just for the money, just for the attention, just to prove someone wrong, you'll probably quit when it gets tough. But if your reason is deep, if it's about providing for your family, breaking a generational cycle, living out your purpose, then you'll find a way to keep going. Your why will fuel you when motivation is gone. You also have to understand that persistence isn't a straight line. You'll have setbacks. You'll fail. You'll get rejected. You'll have to start over. But persistence isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. Every failure is a test to see if you're serious. If you fold at the first sign of trouble, you're telling the world you weren't ready for the next level. But if you keep going despite the setbacks, you're proving you can handle more. I've seen people with half the talent go twice as far simply because they stayed in the game longer. They didn't take no for an answer. They didn't let one bad season define them. They didn't let slow progress convince them they weren't making any. They understood that the road to anything great is longer, harder, and lonelier than most people expect. But it's worth it. And here's something you might not hear often. Sometimes persistence means outlasting other people's doubt. People will doubt you, criticize you, laugh at you. They'll tell you it can't be done, that you're dreaming too big. But persistence is about letting time prove you right. When they see you still standing years later, still building, still growing, still improving, they'll either start believing in you or they'll quietly disappear. Either way, you win. At the end of the day, persistence is a choice. Every morning you decide whether you're going to keep moving toward your goal or let it slip further away. And every day you choose persistence, you get stronger, not just in your skills, but in your belief that you can do hard things. You stop being the kind of person who talks about what they almost did and start being the kind of person who finished what they start. Discipline is the bridge between the vision in your mind and the reality you want to live in. People talk about motivation like it's the fuel that makes dreams happen, but motivation is temporary. It's a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going long after the excitement is gone. It's the reason some people can build habits that last for decades while others can't keep a commitment for more than a week. Discipline is what makes sure you keep promises to yourself. even when nobody else is holding you accountable. When you don't have discipline, you're at the mercy of your emotion. If you feel like working out, you go to the gym. If you don't feel like it, you stay home. If you feel inspired, you work on your business. If you don't, you scroll through your phone. The problem with living like that is feelings are unreliable. They change with the weather, with your mood, with what side of the bed you woke up on. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never get far. The world doesn't reward people who show up only when it's convenient. It rewards people who show up no matter what. Discipline is the decision you make before the moment comes. It's saying no matter how I feel tomorrow morning, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to train. It's decided. Even if my friends are going out tonight, I'm staying in to study because my exam is more important than this party. It's choosing your future over your present comfort again and again. People think discipline is about restriction, about missing out, about being rigid. In reality, it's the opposite. It's about freedom. Because when you have discipline, you're not controlled by your impulses. You're not a prisoner to distraction, laziness, or procrastination. You're in charge. Think about athletes at the highest level. They don't train when they feel like it. They train because it's scheduled. Rain, shine, tired, sore, stressed, it doesn't matter. The workout gets done. That's why they're champions. Not because they're superhuman, but because they've trained themselves to do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. That's the heart of discipline. It's not glamorous. Nobody's posting videos of the days you drag yourself through a workout half asleep or force yourself to write another page when your brain is fried. But those are the days that build your edge. The challenge with discipline is that it often demands doing the small, unexciting things over and over. It's not just about the big moments. You don't get fit by going to the gym once a month. You get fit by showing up several times a week for years. You don't build a business by landing one lucky client. You build it by sending emails, making calls to fixing problems, and staying consistent every single day. Discipline is built in the grind, the repetitive, routine actions that most people get bored with and abandon. One of the reasons people struggle with discipline is because they're trying to rely on willpower alone. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out. You can't depend on it forever. The secret is creating systems that make discipline automatic. If you want to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in the house. If you want to read more, put your book next to your bed instead of your phone. If you want to save money, set up automatic transfers to your savings account before you even see your paycheck. That way you don't have to decide every time. It's already built into your life. Another thing about discipline, it doesn't start big. You don't go from zero to running a marathon overnight. You build it the same way you build muscle. One rep at a time, you start small. You keep promises to yourself that you know you can keep, and then you build from there. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Drink more water. Write for 10 minutes a day. Each time you follow through, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted. That trust is the foundation of discipline. Discipline also means doing things even when nobody will know if you skip them. That's the test. What do you do when nobody's watching? When there's no praise, no recognition, no external pressure? A lot of people work hard when the spotlight's on, but champions put in the work in the dark. The world eventually sees the results, but the grind behind it, that's discipline. And here's the truth. Discipline isn't supposed to feel good in the moment. Sometimes it will, but more often than not, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like resisting temptation, like pushing through fatigue, like staying focused when your brain wants to wander. But discipline isn't about how it feels now. It's about how it will feel later. That's why disciplined people think long term. They understand that the temporary discomfort of discipline is nothing compared to the permanent regret of giving up. A lack of discipline will cost you far more than the effort it takes to maintain it. If you skip workouts, you lose your health. If you spend recklessly, you lose your financial security. If you don't control your words and actions, you lose relationships. Everything in life has a price, and the price of discipline is paid up front. The price of regret is paid forever. You get to choose which bill you want. It's also important to understand that discipline isn't about perfection. You will slip up. You'll miss a workout, break a streak, have a lazy day. Discipline doesn't mean you never fall. It means you never stay down. It's about bouncing back faster, not letting one mistake spiral into a week or a month of bad habits. The difference between disciplined and undisciplined people isn't that one never fails. It's that one refuses to let failure become final. Surrounding yourself with disciplined people makes a huge difference too. When you're around people who hold themselves to a high standard, it becomes normal to push yourself. If you're surrounded by people who constantly cut corners, make excuses, and avoid hard work, that will rub off on you too. Discipline is contagious, both ways. There's also a deeper layer to discipline. It's not just about doing the hard things. It's about becoming the kind of person who does them naturally. Over time, discipline changes your identity. You stop saying, I'm trying to be healthy, and start saying, I'm a healthy person. You stop saying, I'm working on being productive, and start saying, I'm a productive person. Once you see yourself differently, your actions start to match that identity without as much resistance. The last thing you have to understand about discipline is that it's a form of self-respect. When you have discipline, you're telling yourself, my future matters enough for me to sacrifice for it now. You're saying, I believe in myself enough to do the work today so I can live the life I want tomorrow. People without discipline keep breaking promises to themselves. Over time, that destroys their confidence. But every time you follow through, you're building the belief that you can count on you. And when you believe in yourself like that, there's almost nothing you can't do. Success leaves clues. The people who are where you want to be didn't get there by accident. They follow certain principles, made certain choices, and developed certain habits that position them for greatness. And if you want to achieve at a high level, you can't just wing it and hope you stumble across the right formula. You've got to study the greats, take notes, and apply what they've already learned through years of trial and error. The road you're trying to travel has already been walked by someone else. Why try to reinvent it when you can learn from their footprints? Too many people think they're going to be the exception, that they can take shortcuts, skip the process, and still get the same results as someone who put in the work. That's not how it works. The reality is there are patterns to success. And if you want to make better decisions, you got to recognize those patterns. You got to look at the people who are thriving in the areas you care about and ask, what are they doing consistently that I'm not doing yet? And here's the thing. It's not always the flashy stuff. Sometimes the clues are in the small, unglamorous details that nobody talks about because they're not exciting enough for social media. When you study success, you'll notice that winners have a certain discipline about them. They show up early. They prepare more than they have to. They focus on details most people ignore. They're obsessed with growth, even after they've achieved more than anyone expected. If you're trying to build wealth, you'll find successful people almost always have strong money habits. They budget, invest, and protect their income. If you're trying to get in peak shape, you'll find that top athletes don't just train hard. They recover well, eat strategically, and monitor their progress. If you're trying to be a better leader, you'll find that the best leaders are the best listeners, the best learners, and the quickest to take responsibility. Success leaves clues, but here's the problem. Most people are too proud to follow them. They want to do it their way because they don't want to feel like they're copying someone else. But learning from others isn't copying, it's accelerating. You still bring your own personality, creativity, and uniqueness to the table.